I wish I could say that this week was light and fluffy. Yes, we have a new moon. Yes, it's in Libra. That seems really good, you know, fresh starts, new beginnings. But it's a pretty deep and interesting kind of a week. We have the sun moving into Scorpio. That Scorpio season begins. That's like the depths start to really open up to us. We have some interesting aspects with the dark goddesses going on this week. Black Moon Lilith is in the mix in a really powerful position kind of all week. Kali is also in the mix in a powerful position. We'll talk about what dark goddesses heavy in the astrology really points to and what the gifts are. There's some real gifts this week. So my aim is to kind of get us under the surface level stuff of, you know, like Mercury retrograde, communications are going to break down, you know, that surface level astrology. I think that stuff's great. I love it. I want to go deeper though. I want to go into like the as within, so without, as above, so below. If this is happening outside of there, how does this influence us? And how can we see more, move with more, work with more in our lives to really kind of get the best out of every week, no matter what's going on in the astrology. All right, here we go. Let's dive into this. Maybe first, overall, I would love to share this theme of empowerment for this week. Pluto's a big player in this week's astrology. You'll hear as I go day by day. But Pluto, being a really big player in astrology, is all about power. It's a power shift. It's power dynamics. And so here's something I want to say up front. This is going a little bit off script, but where are you giving your power away? Where are you still looking outside of yourself to make decisions? Where are you overriding that deep, wise voice within? Like if you know something and someone says, for instance, in an astrology video like this, someone says, you know, maybe not the best week to make big decisions, but deep down gut feel wise, you know it's time to quit your job. You know it. Quit your job. Do you know what I'm saying? This is one of the big themes that this astrology in all of 2025 really has been like working us. This has been a grind in the astrology. It's not like a lightning bolt awakening. It's more like this brewing, this fermenting, this like long, but it's deep transformation. It's like composting. This is Pluto, right? It's deep composting, moving from one form all the way into another form. This is Sedna, conjunct Uranus, one of the biggest transits going on, which is a full, complete transformation of self. So that's one of the themes that I really wanted to point to. Another theme, this is again going a little off script, but I feel like these might really serve in this moment of time because shit's weird, right? Is it weird on your end? It's weird on my end. It's weird in the rewilding team. It's weird in the different circles I'm running in the different communities I tap into. Like people are just like, what the is going on? So something else that I want to point out is this first wave of collective consciousness shifting. And if you're kind of riding that first wave edge, I did a whole video on this with signs and symptoms. How do you know if you're in the first wave? You can click the link above or below, dive into that after this video if you haven't seen it yet. But if you're in this first wave, it's been going on kind of since March of this year. Kind of since like March, April, like around that eclipse time frame, around that spring equinox, well, spring here in the US, but that like March equinox time frame, and it's going to go until the winter solstice. So it's going to go until December 21st, roughly. Now, these aren't exact dates, but roughly. And so just that's another cycle within a cycle. So yes, we're talking about astrology. We're talking about this week's astrology, but also remembering that there's other cycles going on. I think sometimes we can get so stuck in, you know, real like microscopic view of what's going on. Like, oh, on Wednesday, the sun goes into Scorpio. Okay, yes, and that's going to have some influence, but also, you're in this first wave of massive cosmic galactic consciousness shifting, and there is this huge rebirth that's happening for you also. So I just kind of wanted to point out some of the bigger cycles that are going on. And if you want to tap into some of that, I would suggest that first wave video to just tap into things. Pam Gregory's doing some really good work on this. I'm going to interview Richard Rudd about this next week. That'll probably come out the first week of November, so stay tuned for that. I talked to Rick Levine. That's an interview. We'll throw a link up there if you want to hear more like astrological type of information around these like bigger cycles. Last thing that I want to mention up front here. This is something that could really, really serve, and it could really support you to understand what the fuck's going on in your life. There are two things that you might want to look up in your birth chart. One, I want to get these exact degrees for you. So I'm going to look over here at my chart. One is to look at the house in your birth chart where Saturn and Neptune are playing this dance of going into Aries, backing into Pisces, into Aries, backing into Pisces. This week, Neptune backs into Pisces. This is going to feel illusional, delusional. We don't know what is real, what paradigms are shattering, what is the new reality that's being formed. I looked at my own chart this morning because I was feeling this Neptune so loud. And I looked, and of course, these two SOBs are dancing in the exact area of my life that I am seeing a complete paradigm shift happen. A complete rewiring of all my belief systems around it. All my belief systems, and also what I previously thought I wanted to create versus what I want to create in this area of my life now. So I would so strongly recommend, if you haven't seen a birth chart, if you don't know your birth chart, go run your birth chart. There's a free masterclass that I did. You can sign up. We'll email you the link. It's totally free, right? It's just a little video. You follow along. You can create your free birth chart, and you can look at where right now, obviously Neptune is at 0 degrees of Aries, moving to 29 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is at 26 degrees of Pisces. So you want to look where those final degrees of Pisces, first degrees of Aries are. This is an area of your life. You want to look at the house. The house points to the area of life that you are having a complete overhaul in. You are having a complete paradigm shift. This is what you thought you wanted to create in this area of life, but now Neptune is fogging it out. He's bringing confusion. He's bringing a cloud of unknowing to completely rewrite that area of life. This is going to be such a good kind of signpost. It's almost like looking at life's roadmap. Like you can literally look at your life handbook and go, okay, cool, this is what's going on right now. So that's the first thing that I would look for, is the house that end of Pisces, beginning of Aries is in your chart, and just know, and then reflect on it, journal on it, talk about it, right? Get into it. It's just helpful to know it. Like knowing it is half the battle. Awareness is half the battle. Bringing your consciousness to it is half the battle. For me, it was just this like, oh my, and then I walked for like 3 hours. I just had a huge conversation with someone around this whole theme, like, oh my gosh, just unpacking all of this. It's Saturn, old structures crumbling, right? It's the end of an entirely huge chapter in this area of your life. It's crazy powerful insights and super easy to find. Again, if you don't have your birth chart, go do that super simple masterclass and get yourself a birth chart. You can know in like an hour where this is happening. The other place that I would look, this is another really good one to look for, because this is another one of these longer cycles, this Saturn Neptune cycle. It's long. It's definitely deep transformation and a complete reality shift in that area of life. The other area of life where it's a long, deep, more initiatory transformation in your life is where the Eris-Chiron conjunction is happening. So that Eris-Chiron conjunction is happening at 24-25. Right now, Chiron's at 24 degrees. Eris is at 25 degrees of Aries. In the sign of Aries, you want to look where 24-25 is. What is that house? Again, that's the area of life where these two are really, what are they doing in that area of life? Eris is bringing chaos to that area of life so that you can cut through the the false constructs. Chiron is bringing deepest wounds. So it's like cut through the false constructs of what you thought was wounding is actually wisdom. And that's what they're really working on. They're really working on initiating you into wisdom self. Yeah, that's Chiron, right? Initiating you into wisdom self. Now, Eris will bring in this truth bomber. So we have truth bomber with shamanic wisdom keeper, right? Truth warrior, dark goddess. She threw the apple of discord and chaos in so that everybody could see a deeper truth. They could see beyond the surface level lies and masks and fake things that everyone was wearing to get to a deeper truth. And that deeper truth is what Chiron is saying here is that's your initiation into an aspect of your greatness. So these are two long-term cycles that are going on. 2025, 2026, they get loud this week. Both of them get really loud this week so we could get bigger insights as to this bigger cycle that's going on. So look for both of those, right? Pisces, Aries, like that kind of 0 point, what house is that falling in? And then the 24, 25 degrees of Aries, what house is that falling in? Interesting stuff, right? Okay, that's enough. Let's get into this day by day. We're going to do a little bit of focus on this new moon that's coming up on Tuesday, but otherwise we'll just go Monday through Sunday. I'll give you the big hitters for the week. If you're not subscribed to Rewilding Weekly, I send out a newsletter. I write this and I write journal prompts for this. So every single day, Monday through Sunday, you get an email on Sunday with every day written out so you don't have to come back and watch this video every day to remember what's going on. I personally refer to this thing, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week. No joke. Literally go back into my emails of the email that I wrote and sent to myself to see what's going on that day. So that might be something, and you'll find it below. Look for Rewilding Weekly. It's a Sunday newsletter that I write. You'll find links above and links below to dive into that. All right, let's do this. So Monday, I'm going to start off talking about an aspect that perfected on Sunday, but it's still loud, it's still strong, and it's going to be a player all week. It's really an interesting aspect. So think of this and put this in your back pocket. This is a player that's going to be playing all week with different aspects, and I'll point to that as we get to each day of this. So this is Mars, action, warrior, action, like you're taking action. Conjunct Mercury, your mind, the mind. So Mars conjunct Mercury, the mind and action like line up and they want to go. This is good. This is like nice in some of this like weird energy that we've been in of like push, pull, start, stop, do, I don't. It's like actual boosh wants to go forward and it's getting into alignment so that it can go forward. Now here's the interesting part. Mars and Mercury are at 19 degrees on Monday. Now, they're conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Remember I said these dark goddesses are dancing loudly. So astrologers, most things will be talking about this Mars conjunct Mercury, and they're like, whoa, yes, like the warriors lined up with the mind, action, thinking is all lined up, like it's go time. Except that they're conjunct Black Moon. Now, Black Moon says, I'm going to share it like this. I'll give it a bunch of different ways to try to get into this deeper angle. This is hidden territory. She's a dark goddess. Black Moon, dark goddess, not dark bad, dark hidden. So she's pointing at hidden parts of self. So what she's saying, and she's feminine archetypal energy, like, listen here, boys club. If you don't have deeper aspects of self lined up with this, you ain't going anywhere, sunshine. Isn't that interesting? So while the mind, typically a more masculine type of an energy, and action, Mars, is a masculine archetype, Mars, the warrior god, is lined up, if it's not in alignment with my gut feel, I'm not going anywhere. This is what this week, the whole week is going to point to this. It's got to be in alignment with deep, intuitive gut feels knowings. It is literally the feminine, like rising her deep interconnectedness to the all of everything and saying, listen here, sunshine, I'm representing soul. Like your ego, Mars, Mercury, may think that is the greatest direction for you to go. But I am telling you what, your soul is not up for that. Your soul wants something very different. So if you're finding that things are not moving forward, that it's like that push-pull goofy energy, you're going to want to do some soul alignment work, right? You're going to want to really get into what is it that I deeply, that depth of feminine wisdom in me. I am divine incarnate. I am a soul having a human experience. What is it that this soul is wanting to experience in this life? Once we tap into that level of desire, we are going to be moving like it's nobody's business. We're going to be creating, manifesting, moving, but it's got to come from those depths. That's what this whole week is pointing to. It's part of the reason we released 3 dark goddess archetypal embodiment journeys this week. It's so that we are all given this opportunity, should we choose to go there, to open up to that soul territory, to open up to truer truths, deeper depths. So if that's something that's singing to you, look for the Reclaimer. Look for the Reclaimer. It's only open until the 31st of October, then it closes. No idea when that will open again, but it's Medusa, remover of the masks, basically stripping you of the false absorbed constructs. It's Eris. We talked a little bit about Eris. We'll dive into her further. Truth warrior, chaos, discord, so that we can get in alignment with ourselves. And then it's Lilith. Yeah, the wild feminine liberator. Those 3. And really what they do is that soul territory. You cannot avoid soul territory when you work in the territory of the dark goddess. This is why it's so loud this week, is because the dark goddess is dancing loudly. Okay, so that's just Monday. That's just Monday. I want to share this also on Monday, a little more around goddess energy, this divine feminine energy. Is Mars conjunct Mercury, also conjunct Black Moon, right? Squaring the Lilith asteroid. So we just spoke about Lilith, wild woman liberation, wild feminine liberation. Part of what Lilith brings to the table here, and being a square is tough. So it's literally like these feminine, these dark goddesses are keeping our actions in check. They're keeping your forward motion, Mars conjunct Mercury, in check. I am going to keep you in check, and I'm going to make sure that you are moving from a soul level. And if you're not, I'm going to deliver the things that show you that you are off base, sunshine. That's her. It's her. It's fierce grace. It's fierce love. It's you are here for so much more, and I will not allow you to play small. I will not allow you to follow some silly little egoical thing that you saw on Instagram and you're comparing yourself to somebody else's life. I will not allow you to continue to fall into unconscious family patterns. There's more to you. That's her. That's her love. That's the love of the fierce mother. Love of the fierce mother. She looks at your greatness and she delivers that which opens you to your greatness. So the way that I see Black Moon Lilith, and I've worked with her in a very embodied way, a very experiential way, where you open up to that particular energy in yourself and the cosmos. How does it move through you? What is that aspect of you? And the way that Black Moon Lilith shows up in me and in those who I've held spaces for to facilitate these types of journeys is that she's the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. Fuck the fact that people are saying she's just Lilith. She holds Durga, Black Madonna, Kali, Persephone, Medusa. It's the fullness of the dark feminine, the fullness of the dark goddess. So her being conjunct them, and then there's square Lilith, a specific face of the dark goddess. Lilith being square them, she's demanding equality. She demands equality between the masculine and the feminine. Demands it. Now, let me get this clear. Oftentimes, Lilith, when you work with Lilith, she will move you through toxic feminine that nobody's wanting to talk about. Yes, equality, but really what a lot of times toxic feminine, and this is really running rampant in our society, is toxic feminine is actually saying, no, the feminine, we want to be on top. We want to overpower. We're wiser, we're smarter, we're more loving, we're more blah, 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 whatever the fuck she's saying. She's calling it demand for equality. Actually, she's really not wanting equality. She's wanting to rule the roost. She's wanting to move the power from masculine to the feminine. Lilith calls her out on that BS. She calls her out and says, that's not equality, sunshine. They rise together. They are in union together. That's the gift of Lilith. So yes, it is this wild woman reclamation, but most Lilith expressions in people are half-baked. They're half-baked. They've gotten to stage 2, which is a distorted expression of Lilith. It's distorted. Now you're just vengeful. You're rageful. You're pissed off because you've been suppressed and oppressed. And that's a beautiful stage to be in. And it's a necessary stage to move out the grief and the rage from being oppressed and repressed and from silencing yourself and from people pleasing all the time. But it's only the second stage. It's not the end. It's not the end of the journey. So don't pretend like it's the end of the journey. That's what Lilith says. She's like, yes, this was her myth. She had to go out and fuck demons, have demon babies. Like she went off the rails. How many of you can relate to that after you got a divorce or broke up? You went off the rails. I know I can. Back in my 20s, I certainly can. I was there. So what she's saying is move it out, move that toxicity out. This is part of what the dark goddess wants, all of them want to do, is to move the toxicity out. The toxicity that got built up from the repression of the feminine in our bodies, in our family systems, in our world. The oppression, the demonization, the denial of the full feminine. And so move that toxicity out, because there's trapped rage, there's trapped grief, there's all of that stuff. Move it out. But know that this is just part of your purging. It is not the end. It is not the end game at all. It's stage 2. It's the developing stage. It's the distorted stage before you get to stage 3. Stage 3. So the Lilith journey, remember I said there's all 3 dark goddesses, Eris, Lilith, Medusa in the Reclaimer package. By the way, you get 3 for the price of 2. I know, we're crazy. I love how crazy we get when we do stuff like this. But the Lilith journey will take you through all 3 stages. You will literally go through dormant, like that particular flavor of feminine is not even operating in you. You're like, I don't have any dark goddess, Sabrina. She's just dormant. I don't have any Lilith. She's just dormant. She's just dormant. That's all. It's just in that stage. It's just in that stage. Hasn't had the right environment, the right energetics to activate that in ourselves, right? And then move into stage 2, move through developing, move through the distorted version of into stage 3, divine. I don't know how the hell that happened in a 1-hour activation. I still don't know how that happened for Lilith. I remember just getting to the end of it going like, there's no way that I, Sabrina, could ever do something like that. Ever. That's how it was for all 36 archetypes, by the way. I just kind of sat back and watched and went like, wow. I am really glad I learned how to get out of the way. Okay, so they're also Mars conjunct Mercury conjunct Black Moon, also square Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene has this depth like the dark goddesses, but she doesn't have the pain body of the dark goddesses. Isn't that interesting? Even though she experienced an enormous amount of pain, right? An enormous amount of loss, an enormous amount of grief, but she grieved it. She moved it through already. So Mary Magdalene comes from this depth, like deep, sacred, feminine wisdom, but without the pain body. This is a very interesting dynamic here happening on Monday. I love it. I really love it. She brings in the sacred heart. She brings in like, yes, you can go there. Yes, you too. She's already in 3rd stage. And she goes, yes, you too can move through that amount of grief. Yes, you too don't have to be vengeful, even though they killed your lover, even though they killed he who was the representation of the divine in my life. I don't have to be vengeful. I don't have to be rageful. I don't have to live in a 2nd stage distorted expression of divine feminine, full energy. Okay, so then we go into Tuesday. So this is a good setup for the Tuesday new moon, right? We're in the dark phase of the moon until Tuesday, right? It's dark, shedding, releasing, letting go. And this is the shedding, releasing, letting go final pieces of eclipse season. because the last new moon we had a month ago, that was an eclipse. So this new moon on Tuesday marks the end of the eclipse season, the eclipse portal. Of course, the energetics ripple out 6 months to 6 months, eclipse to eclipse, blah, blah, blah. But this was like the hot zone. So now on Tuesday, it's like a newer new moon, if that makes any sense, because it's another cycle kind of ending with this new moon. All right, so let's talk new moons. New moons, new beginnings, new chapter, new start. It's in Libra, 28 degrees of Libra. So it's interesting because it's at the tail end of Libra. Right after this new moon happens, the moon goes into Scorpio, and then right away on Wednesday night, the sun follows into Scorpio. So it's like one last little like new blast of grace, we could say, new blast of grace into Libra energy, Libra dynamics, Libra themes. What are Libra themes? Could be a blast of newness into relationships. Could be a blast of newness into harmony within yourself. You can think like nervous system regulation. Like maybe there's new wiring that's happening in you. Maybe there's new energetics. I always feel Libra as just like such an energetic kind of an energy that moves through us. And so you can feel into like harmony, balance, equality, that Lilith sort of a thing. Equality is an aspect of Libra. As well as relationships. I want to throw that in there too. We've been hit with relationships a lot for the last month, not just because the sun's been in Libra, but for multiple other reasons. I've talked about it in the last 2 astrology episodes. If you've been paying attention, I've been on this relationship thing, relationships for a while now. Okay, so this new moon also, it's in Libra. Fresh beginnings, new starts, relationships. It's sextile to Shiva. This is just good flowing energy of the fullness of the divine masculine. So if we were to go third stage, remember that like third stage, that divine expression, that high level expression, third stage expression, divine level of expression of just this really healthy, whole, healed masculine consciousness supporting this new moon. So good for relationships. I'm telling ya. Also so good for what it is. Remember I said to look at your chart where the Saturn-Neptune kind of dance is happening and where the Chiron-Eris dance is happening. This could be really good for setting new intentions around those themes. So for example, mine is in the house of home and family. Right? Remember I shared like, oh my gosh, I saw this aha moment in the house this morning, blah, 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 around Pisces Saturn. And so for me, this new moon is like, oh, how can I bring harmony, balance, right? From my deepest truth. I've been obviously very much in dark goddess energy this week, given the fact that we are holding space for Eris, Lilith, and Medusa in our community. But how can I, from my deepest truth, create this harmony, balance? What are these intentions that I want to set, these aims I want to hold, this kind of vision? It's like this vision, it's a moment in time, a new moon, to hold a vision of something really fucking good. Something really fucking good that brings you so much joy. And I would very much look at those 2 houses, those 2 areas of life, because those 2 areas of life are really getting hit with some huge transformation. Now, of course, remember I also said, don't listen to anybody. It's your empowerment first, your wisdom first. So you go, what is the area of life that I'm really working on? And do I feel to set intentions around that, around something so magnificent, so fulfilling to me, so brings me so much joy or peace, whatever your words are around that makes you feel like it's in just such alignment with you. Okay. This new moon also, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into this. So this is like the nice, lovely, grace-filled part of this new moon. Dun, dun, dun. It's square Pluto. Lord of the underworld. We are not going to get away with surface level stuff. This goes back to that theme from Monday. It has to be about soul. Ego is not going to get away with much this week. squaring Pluto. Pluto is an evolutionary soul point. So if I'm saying the dark goddesses are pointing at soul, he's the dark god. He's the masculine counterpart to the dark goddesses. And thank goodness that he's loud, because to have a dark god consciousness that can hold the fullness of the dark goddess this week, amen. Shiva's also got that too, by the way. So it's really beautiful that you've got these two big hitters, like these two big hitters just holding. I can be conscious to the deepest depths of you. I can be conscious to these places that you've maybe found a little bit challenging to get to. Pluto's got no problem going there. In fact, he's going to probably, like Persephone, where he grabs Persephone and initiates her into the underworld. I am going to show you that you are a queen. You are not just maiden of spring. You are all, I'm going to show you this whole other half of you. I am going to induct you into your power. That's part of what this week is saying. Pluto's a huge player in it. Persephone comes into play toward the end of the week. We'll talk about that when we get to the weekend. I love this dance. This is just such a great week. Okay, so now let's talk nodes of fate. This is all still happening on Tuesday. Of course, this is going to flavor the whole week. So we have the nodes of fate. Remember last week, Medusa was square the nodes of fate. So we talked about that. Medusa being square the nodes of fate. Nodes of fate, that's your true north. All signs are pointing to us getting into next level expression of our greatness, next level expression and experience of what it is that your soul came here to experience. Did it come here to experience being a mother? Did it come here to experience deeply, intimately connecting with earth? Did it come here to experience pleasure through the body? What did your soul come here to experience? This is a huge week for that. So this week on Tuesday, the new moon, Vesta, love this, Vesta is conjunct Sophia, feminine wisdom, and they're square the nodes of fate. Y'all, this goes back to a nice grace-filled, beautiful energy on this moon. So we went to from Libra, sextile Shiva, this is so good. Then we went deep, dark Pluto. And now we're going into this really grace-filled, supportive. Vesta is the keeper of the inner flame. She helps to focus your Shakti on what matters. Focus your life force on what matters. Just because you can do 35,000 things doesn't mean you should. Vesta goes, this is most fulfilling for you. This will bring you most joy. You don't have time in this life to do everything. Do these things that will bring you the greatest. That's Vesta. Conjunct Sophia, feminine wisdom. It's the interconnectedness, the feminine wisdom in the wind, the feminine wisdom in the infinite, all of everything. And that just dancing with Vesta's inner flame along the nodes of fate. Go on a shamanic walk in the woods or in nature and just let everything talk to you. Let nature talk to you. Let the world talk to you. Tell me, Sophia. Tell me, what is my next greatest step in life? What is my next greatest creation? That's what we want to be doing on this new moon. That's what we want to be dreaming into. That's what we want to be starting to open up our vision to so that we can bring it into reality. All right. I think we should move on. I'll say this too, because we're going to dive into this a little bit later. The sun and moon, so when it's a new moon, they're together. They're at 28 degrees. Jupiter's at 24 degrees. So it's a 4-degree off, but it's a square. All right. So the sun and moon square. Jupiter already squared the sun and moon prior to this, but Jupiter's still going to make this new moon bigger. So it's bigger. Jupiter's a grace bomb. He brings expansion. He brings focus. He'll amplify whatever he is in aspect to. So he's amplifying this new moon. So dream bigger, think bigger, all of these things, really good stuff to do, these different practices I was sharing about what to vision into. Now, Jupiter's also squaring Chiron and Eris. Chiron and Eris at 24 and 25 degrees. So this is a much tighter square. So also during this moon, this is like, now we get into the deeper depths. You know, it's like, light grace field, deeper depths, Pluto. Light grace field, Sophia Vesta, deeper depths, Chiron-Eris. So Chiron-Eris is opposing the sun and moon. So it's a T-square, Jupiter in a T-square. Let's talk about this deeper depths. Deeper depths, I pointed this out a little bit earlier, but we'll talk a little more about it. These deeper depths of Chiron initiation, shamanic initiation. Shamanic initiations of old, you had to face a near-death experience. That's really how you became a shaman in the old traditions. It was literally, you physically became so ill that you almost died. You walked on the other side of the world and you came back with all of the wisdom. So that's kind of an aspect of what Chiron is saying, is just these like intense shamanic initiation into your wisdom, whatever that is. Now, Chiron also points to the wound in your life that will never heal. Isn't that interesting? But here's the sneaky little thing about Chiron, is that the healing of that wound is the acceptance of it. It's actually that our thinking is twisted around it because we want it to come into perfection, which doesn't even exist. We want to fix it. We want to change it. We want it to look like what it looks like in someone else. Whatever these patterns are in ourselves, or these physical wounds, or maybe energetic, emotional scars that we're carrying around. I mean, these things are multi-layered all over the board, and they're not the easiest to find. That's why it might be helpful to look at your birth chart like I referred to before. Again, totally free. Click the link, go do it. It takes about an hour and you've got all this information. So the magic here, I always give this example, and I'm sorry if you've heard this 1,000 times, but it's just a simple one for me. When I started doing a lot of Chiron work, my own Chiron work, like really looking at this unhealable wound, right? Unhealable wound. My high level of sensitivity is part of my Chiron wound. It is, I am so psychic. I am so empathic. I am so fucking sensitive. I can literally channel any energy through my system at any time. Now you can imagine, without gaining the wisdom over the years and the training and the experience and the studying, this is all Chiron, that's exactly what he did in his life, it would be a serious disability. It was a serious disability when I was younger. I drank a lot of alcohol in college. I now know why I did. It's because I was so sensitive, and it was the thing that helped me numb out to reading energy so intensely, to seeing, hearing people's innermost thoughts all of the time. Like, it was my wound. I didn't know how to deal with it. I have more sensitivity than I've ever had, more of these capacities. But now, after all the years of training, years of practicing, years and years, under the deepest wound lies the greatest gift. Think about that. Think about that in your life. Journal on that, reflect on that under this new moon. What are the intentions that you want to set around your greatest gift coming to the surface out of what was considered a disability, something that was challenging, something that was really hard for you? So the healing is in the accepting of it. I have accepted, and because of that wound, I have studied shamanic traditions, tantric traditions, all of these archetypal embodiments, astrology, right? Meditation, like the 85 zillion other things that I've studied. I never planned on doing what I do. I really went into all of this to figure out what was wrong with me. Talk about a Chiron initiation. Talk about a perfect soul point in life. That's Chiron. It is another soul point. It's another soul point. But oftentimes we deny it, or we don't follow the thread. All right, let's keep going. So let's move on to Wednesday. That was Tuesday's new moon. So we're moving on to Wednesday. Now, Wednesday is that Neptune piece. That Neptune piece. Neptune is dissolving the old. This is the old versus new. This is the Neptune Saturn. I said, look, Aries, 0 point of Aries, back into Pisces. That Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Aries is the first sign. This is a huge karmic, Saturn's in the mix, karmic completion. It is a huge ending of a chapter, a huge completion, but it's not done yet. It's not done yet. So what this could feel like as Neptune goes backwards out of Aries, the new, backward into Pisces, we could feel like I'm back in the same old shit again. Neptune also brings the fog, the confusion, the illusion, the disillusion, like you're confused, you can't see. That's how I'm always saying it. Whenever I can feel Neptune, this is how I felt this morning. That's why I looked at my chart. I woke up and I'm like, I can't see. I can't see it so. And then I'm like, oh, I know who this is, you know, because I know these archetypes. Obviously, I've been working with them forever. And I'm like, oh, this is Neptune. Where is this mofo? Let me get my chart out. Where is he? What's he dancing on? And that's when this huge aha, oh my gosh, this is like mind-blowing, miraculous. And this can happen for you too this week. So it can be a lot of clarity if we create the time and the space and ask ourselves the right questions. So that weekly, you know, the Rewilding Weekly, that free thing I put out, hopefully those are the right questions. That's my aim, is to give you the right journal prompts, the right reflective questions every single day of the week. So if we ask ourselves the right questions, we bring our awareness to something that we maybe wouldn't have before. Again, that's totally free. Find a link below, sign up, throw your email in. I will send you an email every single Sunday. All right, so this is Neptune moving back into Pisces. So he'll be at 29 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is at 26 degrees of Pisces, just to kind of give you a feel for that. Wednesday's a big shifting day. Wednesday's a big shifting day. So not only does Neptune move back into Pisces, so it gets all Neptunian, like Neptune in Pisces, he's home. He's just like, I'm a mystic. You know, like reality ceases to exist again. We're gone. Here we go. And it can, again, feel old because he's backtracking into very old chapter to do a couple karmic completions with Saturn where he's dancing. And also on Wednesday, the other big shift that we're going to feel, we might feel this one even more, is the sun moving into Scorpio. So the sun's been in Libra, like that sign of equality, balance, harmony, relationship. And now the sun is moving into Scorpio. So out of air, Libra air, into Scorpio. This is Pluto territory, Hades territory, the underworld. This is dark goddess territory. Isn't it so perfect for Halloween, for Samhain? Like, it's perfect energy. We are now in the underworld. Let's do this thing. Here's how I love to reframe Scorpio and the underworld. It is, I gotta say this word first. It is power. It is an opportunity to really look at where are you sourcing power from. Can you source power from a healthier place, healthier power dynamics? Can you also, when we start to move into Scorpio season, instead of going, oh my God, the shadow, oh my God, I'm gonna be so triggered, this is so gross, it's crunchy territory. If we can look at it and go, in the hidden, what is my golden shadow? There is a golden shadow, all of these unrealized potentials you have, all of these unrealized gifts, all of this unrealized wisdom, this unrealized life that brings you joy, peace, bliss, love, all the things that we're really, really longing on a soul level. That's also what Scorpio is. Soul, like deep. I'm not going to let you get away with conversations about the fucking weather. No. I don't want to waste time talking about surface level, what the Joneses are doing next door. I want to know your deepest, innermost longing. You know, and Scorpio will just stare right at that. And you're like, yeah, I get a little squirmy. I'm a little nervous about that. Scorpio's like, why? Why would you be nervous about the thing you most desire in this world? This is what your soul really came here to experience. You can tell I love Scorpio season. My sun is in the 8th house. 8th house is like, you know, Scorpio-ish territory. It's like, oh my God, Sabrina, you're a Leo. It's so great. Yeah, in the 8th house. All right, a little bit of a side note. Let's keep going. So Thursday, the 23rd. Thursday is a big complex day. Thursday it's going to take me a little while to get us through Thursday. So Tuesday is a really good big new potentials day. Set your intentions. I would really lean into Tuesday hard. I would go for it. Take the day off of work. I would dream into what it is. I would just open up the gate wide with Jupiter where he's at, with Vesta and Sophia, square the nodes of fate, like a beautiful new moon, sextile Shiva, right? In Libra. It's just good. It's just goodness. So dream and feel like true dreams. Like this lights up my soul. Do not forget that piece. That's what's going to be key to Tuesday. Wednesday, let it be transition day. It's transition day. Like Neptune moving signs, Sun moving signs. It's transition day. Whatever, go to work, do your thing on Wednesday. Thursday, it's an interesting day. Let's see what we can get into here. So remember I talked about Chiron-Eris, right? Chiron, initiator, that wounded healer. He perfects the square to Jupiter on Thursday. So this is where it's been at play, but now Jupiter amplifies. Jupiter amplifies Chiron. Could be a really good day to do some shamanic drumming, like listen to a shamanic drumming track, do an underworld journey, like really like shamanic type of things, like getting on the earth, like earth-based practices can be really powerful when Jupiter squares Chiron. Here's the other interesting piece is that there is a yod happening with the sun, and a yod is fated. It's finger of God. So this is also, to me, pointing out these bigger cycles that are happening. All these outer planets, right? They've all shifted signs. This is this big talk about 2025, 2026. Oh my gosh, everything shifted signs. This is so crazy. Like, we don't even know. Uranus is in a new sign. Neptune trying to get a new sign. He just obviously went backwards into Pisces. But the two of them, Uranus and Neptune, they're in a yod, finger of God pointing at the sun. So they're literally pointing at your conscious self. So it's kind of a day where there's a shamanic initiation going on with Jupiter. Also, you have Uranus, the radical revolutionary, pushing you into the new, aiming at your sun. Neptune, who's still trying to dissolve some of the old patterns going on, all aimed right at you. And you're like, dude, I don't even know what to do here. It's a lot of intense energy that's coming up on Thursday. Not only this, earlier we talked about Mars conjunct Mercury. This was on Monday, remember? Like the masculine, the do and the thinking are aligned, but then we said black moon is in there. So on Thursday, the perfection between Mercury, the mind, and black moon, the conglomerate of the dark goddesses, comes into perfect conjunction. So now our mind, you've got these fated Uranus, Neptune pointing at sun, conscious self. You've got Jupiter squaring Chiron, so your shaman is having a fucking initiation with Jupiter. And now you've got your mind being smashed by the fullness of the dark goddesses going, like, no playing small. Like, stop denying the depths of the feminine. Stop denying your soul. Stop like puke out all of the resentment and the pain that you still have in order to get to equality. Because equality in your own masculine and feminine, that's union, and that opens you up to this enormous state of joy and bliss and creation and magic and manifesting potential. It's a big day on Thursday. I might not want to get out of bed on Thursday. Like, probably don't have huge conversations. Again, fuck me off. Like, don't listen to me about this stuff. I saw a comment somewhere and someone was like, I really wanted to quit my job, but Sabrina said don't make big decisions. Don't listen to me. Like, don't listen to me. Like, why self first? Like this, remember, this is empowerment, your deep, true, wise self. And so if you want to go run a workshop on Thursday for like 1 trillion people, do it. I don't. That's me. All right. So we have that going on. There's also this Mercury conjunct black moon, the conglomerate of the dark goddesses. So the mind getting smashed by the dark goddess. And she's like, I want you to know feminine wisdom. That's also what she's doing, is she's opening the mind to deep, sacred feminine wisdom. Deep, sacred feminine wisdom. Mercury is the translator of the gods. Mercury can translate anything. But you can kind of start to feel that Mercury is not going to translate it in the way you think he's going to translate it. He's not going to translate it into words. This is not how the dark goddess works. This is not how she works, right? She's like, you speak my language, Mercury. You speak my language, and it might come through myth or symbology or energetics, or just you have to move the body to express what it is that the dark goddess is wanting to move through you. She's energy. That's a feminine. She's all of life force itself. And the dark goddess is saying, these are the aspects of life force that you've denied. These are the aspects of life that you haven't gotten good with yet. I get a little fired up about dark goddess. Again, those reclaimers are open, Eris, Medusa, and Lilith up until the 31st. Those details are below. So if you're, feeling like, wow, how do I start to look at where I can open up to more of my own Shakti, more of my own feminine wisdom, more of have my channel, my channel for life force more open. And how can I start to uncover some of these deep, sacred feminine wisdoms? Journey into them. All right. Thursday. We're still on Thursday. I'm telling you, it's a huge day. The sun is trine Kali. Kali, ego liberator, another dark goddess. She will strip you of false self to bring you to true self. Her being trine the sun. So this is the sun's just getting, that's conscious self, it's self. We're getting hammered on Thursday. It could be a really good day to do meditations. It could be a really good day to do these dark goddess journeys, for real. It's not a great day to be really productive out in the world. It's a great day for deep inner transformation and whatever supports you that you're called to support yourself in some deep inner transformation. Venus is also square Isis on Thursday. Goddess Isis, square Venus. For those of you who do journey into those reclaimers, I send you a free Isis transmission. So you also get an Isis and sneaky little insider tip, you get a Persephone transmission. So I did these two videos, the Persephone mysteries and the Isis mysteries. Now they're on I don't even know where they sit, to be honest with you, but they do come through the email sequence when you dive into the reclaimers. So when you dive into that Lilith, Eris, Medusa journey, you also will get a bunch of supportive emails from me with reflective questions, with additional practices to dive into, and you get these two, both Persephone and Isis mystery videos. They're activating. They work with their Shaktis too. So you kind of get five archetypal energies, 5 goddess energies, 5 Shakti awakenings in that reclaimer package. Okay. So that's Thursday. Let's move on to Friday. My gosh, we are really getting long-winded in this conversation. We go deeper into the depths with Hades on Friday. The sun, so are you seeing the sun? This is conscious self. We're going to feel this. Sun square Pluto on Friday. So all this like deeper depths, and the sun is in Scorpio. So it's like the sun can handle it. The sun is already in the underworld. And now it's like, now Pluto, the dark god, is going to get a hold of the sun. Is going to get a hold of conscious self and be like, this for your empowerment, this for your soul evolution. Pluto, death, rebirth. It's to die before you die. He holds one of those like deep esoteric mysteries. You die to false self to be born to true self. That's part of what this whole week is pointing to, is you were dying to false self and being reborn to true self. And that's really big energy coming on Friday with the sun square Pluto. Now, Mercury is trine Jupiter, but again, remember, it's this Mercury, black moon, Mars. So we have Mercury at 24 degrees, black moon at 23 degrees, Mars at 22 degrees. So now black moon, the conglomerate of the dark goddesses, she's sitting in between the mind and the action-oriented warrior and self. She's just sitting right there. She's like, you boys ain't getting away with much unless it's soul-aligned. I love it. Soul territory is where we want to go. Soul territory beyond social conditioning. This is part of what the dark goddess brings. Beyond social conditioning. We've all been so conditioned to be lemmings. And she's like, you are a black sheep. Own it. You are a black sheep. You do not need to fit in, right? And it's I've just discovered where I'm still lemoning, like this morning was huge, where I'm still like, they only get revealed when we're ready to see a social norm that is puppeteering us around, that we've bought into. We're drinking the Kool-Aid and we don't even know it. And then it's blocking our joy and it's blocking our greatness. And we see it when we see it. And this is a week for seeing a lot of things that are blocking our greatness, upper limits that we don't know. Tucker's telling me that we're getting close to the end here. Did you hear that little squeak at the background? Hey, baby. Almost. We're on Saturday. All right, we're on Saturday now. So moving on to Saturday. This is Saturday the 25th. So now we have that same Mercury, Black Moon, Mars, but now Mercury is perfectly trine to Saturn. So this is where this grand water trine is coming into play. So Saturn starts to bring it into reality, right? Saturn is the gatekeeper between the dream, the inspiration, and the physical manifestation of something, right? And so the mind being in a trine to Saturn, that's a positive flowing energy. And so Mercury's had a pretty good workout all week. Sun, conscious self, had a pretty good workout all week by deeper truths, deeper truths, deeper truths. Now on Saturday, it's a good day to translate that into reality, right? And I was saying like Tuesday, dream big, like what is the vision? What is the vision? Now it's starting to, okay, I'm going to start to take steps to manifest this. So whatever those first bringing it to ground steps are, those first manifesting the vision steps are, that's what we either want to really get clear about, or we even want to start doing on Saturday. We want to start doing them on Saturday. So remember, we're in a new moon. Like it was just a new moon. Here we go, right? Now it's with Saturn there. He's saying we can take some steps. We can bring some of this to ground. We can anchor it in. We can ground it in. Don't just be dreamy, off the planet, fa la la. My gosh, I can just imagine this. Make it happen. That's what Saturn's wanting to say on Saturday. So then on Sunday, here's where Persephone comes into play. Remember, I was talking about Persephone, Pluto, Persephone. He initiated her into her queen out of like spring maiden, and just this is the fullness of who you are, right? The initiator to the fullness of the feminine. That's another aspect of Hades. And so on Sunday, Mercury, again, who is in that conjunction with Mars and Black Moon, is square to Persephone. So we get another dark goddess dancing in with action Mars, mind Mercury, Black Moon sitting there, and now Persephone comes in. Now Persephone comes in of like, here's the queen. Here's the initiation into your queen to make it happen. We're still in a phase of make it happen. Bring it to reality with Saturn up in the mix with all of this, right? And the Mars conjunct Mercury, conjunct Black Moon is also square Mary Magdalene on Sunday. So Mary Magdalene back in the picture. Remember, she's like the deep sacred feminine without the pain body, right? Without the, her Shakti doesn't typically, you never know what an archetype's going to do for you. Doesn't typically take you to a place where you're holding pent up grief and rage. She just takes you straight to third stage, straight to sacred heart, straight to the wisdom of the deep sacred feminine. It just takes you straight to it, straight to the wisdom of the union also. She holds sacred union codes all in her. Whew! That's a pretty big week. It is amazing to be here with you. If you are not a subscriber and you don't want to miss anything, it means a lot to us. Comments below. I'm always hanging out in the comments section. It'd be great to see you there. And I'd love to share this Lilith, Eris, Medusa journey with you, the Reclaimers with you. Again, you get one for free. It's 3 for the price of 2. Plus you get Persephone and you get the Isis journeys. Should that sing to you, look for the link below. Only open until the 31st. Have an amazing new moon. Have an amazing week. Massive love to you. May the things that are meant to be illuminated be illuminated. May the grace bombs be dropped by Jupiter. May we reveal this hidden golden shadow, these potentials, this greatness, these gifts, these wisdoms that are just fucking waiting for us to like fuck off the social norms and the whatever it is that's upper limiting us and step into exactly what it is that lights you up, because that's your path. All right, big love to you. I'll see you when I see you, where I see you. Live more, love more. Mwah.